Hello guys, it's been 5 days since my last update, and I think it's time we catch up again. Before I start talking about the progress I've made since last time we talked, I have some really important announcements to make. So last time we talked, I mentioned that my Steam page got delayed on being published, but I have some great news today. My Steam page is officially live, so if you want to go wishlist it today, you can now. I'll be leaving the link to the Steam page below. So if you want to go wishlist it, it'll be down in the comment section or in the description. If you also look in the comment section, you'll realize that I now have a Kickstarter. The Kickstarter is live starting today. So if you're interested in supporting the creation of Jaywalk, you can now. You can go to my Kickstarter today and become a Kickstarter backer. The Kickstarter does have a few tiers. Some of them will give you early access to the game, and some donation tiers will get your name put in the game credits. That's all for the announcement, so if you're interested, I'll be leaving all the links in the comments and description. Anyway, let's talk about what you're looking at right now. So when I was trying to build the online system for the skins, I was having a hard time trying to get the server to accept data from the clients. I ended up talking to ChatGPT a lot for a lot of advice. It was very insightful, but unfortunately, the answer ChatGPT gave me was that I had to basically rebuild my entire skin system that I had already built. So I dedicated a whole day to fixing that. This meant I had to rebuild my mystery box and I had to rebuild my character library. So if you notice any differences on how the mystery box moves, it's because I literally deleted everything inside the mystery box as far as logic goes, and I reprogrammed everything because I was looking at the code and I was like, screw it, it's all gotta go. And I just rebuilt it from ground up. Luckily, I will say it was a whole lot easier building it the second time around because I already knew what I could have done better from the first time I built it. I'm currently showing some clips of me trying to debug the online system before I actually figured out the online skin system. It was a lot of like building logic and then having it not work and then literally rewriting the logic and then running it again and then having it not work and then rewriting the logic again and then literally it doesn't work, and I spent 4 days working on the skin system. But as you see on the screen, I did it. Let's go. Honestly, it's a tragedy I wasn't recording my voice when I solved it because I was kind of screaming at the time because it really felt like I was just banging my head against the wall, and I was hoping that I would get my head through the wall at some point, and I finally did. So, but hold on now, don't get too excited because now I have another glitch or bug or whatever it is. So now I have the correct skin spawn again, and the player can choose between his unlocked skins and other lobbies. But when he spawns in the player start that he doesn't belong to. And I'm not really sure why, because I talked to ChatGPT for a few hours and it said that Unreal Engine automatically handles that. So I don't know how to look under the hood on what's going on in Unreal Engine at a very base level, but I'll try to figure it out. I mean, it's not like a game-breaking glitch, but I would prefer if all the players spawned separately, you know? Because the players can pass through each other, but I would prefer if they spawned separately from each other. Anyway, let me tell y'all another story. So as you can see right here, I'm actually making the skins for the game. And last time I mentioned that I was going to make a 6-7 skin, and here it is. For my brain rot gamers. But unfortunately, I was trying to figure out how to change the pivot point on my static mesh. And when I went and asked ChatGPT on how to change my static mesh pivot point, ChatGPT told me that there's no way to change the pivot point inside Unreal Engine. So I literally built the static mesh inside Unreal Engine. I exported it into Blender, and then after I exported it out of Blender back into Unreal Engine, I realized my static mesh was looking weird. It had like all these cubes and all this weird like artifacting, and I realized it was because all these cubes are pressed together and it was causing this weird visual glitch. So I kept trying to fix it and I messed with it for a good minute, but nothing was working. So I sat there and I just literally looked at the screen, and then I started looking at all the options in the modeling tool because I was like, how the heck is it that I could model things, but I can't change the pivot point. And then I literally see that it says I can change the pivot point. So straight up, bro, ChatGPT lied to me, bro. Like, there ain't no way. ChatGPT is such a liar, bro. Like, don't believe everything ChatGPT says, bud. I think that's my problem. I've come to trust ChatGPT a lot, and I forget that sometimes it could be wrong. But honestly, I'm not even too mad because I was already going into it thinking that I was gonna have to export every single mesh into Blender and then re-import it. But now you're telling me I could just 3D model it inside the engine and it could just work? Oh yeah, that's a big dub. So right here, I'm just testing the 6.7 skin. This is right after I just made it, so it didn't have any collisions yet. But it was kind of cool to see it come to life. And the way I built it is I just put it into a data table, which is basically a list in case if you don't know. And voila, there's a new player character people can play now. So yeah, when I say there's going to be 100 playable characters, oh, there's going to be 100 playable characters for sure. Now we're going to make it 200 now, actually. No, actually, I'm thinking 300 or 400. Nah, I'm just kidding. I think I'm getting a little carried away right now, but I will try to make a whole lot more than 100 if I can. I might start running out of ideas though. In case if you were wondering how I made the numbers, by the way, I kind of just put a texture image in the world and then I kind of used that as a reference to make a blocky version of that number. And I basically did that with all the other numbers or anything that had words in it. So I do have a lot of video clips of me making these characters, but I'm just going to show you the ones that aren't numbers now because I feel like if I just show you the number ones, you're probably going to fall asleep. So here's an actually interesting one that I made. So it's a literal keyboard warrior. How awesome is that? I mean, yeah, you've had the occasional keyboard warrior talking trash about you online, but have you ever played as a keyboard warrior? Probably not. I also made my dog in the game. Last time I talked about making my dog in the game and naming it after my dog, and I actually literally did that now. So you can play as my dog. Let's go. I mentioned this in the last video and I'm gonna mention it again. If anybody has any good ideas for skins, leave it in the comment section and I'll look at it and you can potentially see your skin in the game. Anyway, I'm gonna start skipping a little bit here between events because there's other cool stuff I want to show you. But here's my dog in the game, by the way. Her name is Azul. So at this point in the process of making this game, I kind of just started looking at my character library a little bit too much and I kind of realized it looked a little bit too much like a pillow room, you know, like the crazy people asylum. So I was like, this is a fun game, let's make it fun looking. So I kind of started building the character library world. The idea was to make it look a little bit like a toy room, like if somebody had a whole lot of toys laying around. And now it's time for the big reveal. I was really happy with how it looked. I actually had the lights be a yellowish kind of color. It kind of made it feel a little bit more nostalgic and more like homey. But unfortunately, it was changing the color of my dark blue blocks. So I kind of had to get rid of it and I just put in the white light. Now the idea is I'm going to place all these other playable characters on the shelf. And whenever you enter the character library, you'll be able to see them all in the background. So it'll be like this kind of cool collection world of different skins. I'm probably going to do something similar to the mystery box world too. So on the next video, it'll probably look a whole lot better. So since I made the Kickstarter, one of the rewards is Kickstarter backers can get their name put in the game credits. So I decided to go ahead and make the credits. So now there's the credits button in the game. I was looking at the Kickstarter just right now, and apparently 2 people have already earned their spot on this list. I got one more thing to cover, which is the system that handles spawning in platforms. When I say platforms, I'm talking about the roads, the grass, all of those are platforms put together randomly. And I kind of rebuilt the blueprint that handles all of that. So it progressively gets harder as you move forward. So whenever you start, usually it'll just be lily pads and trees. And then it'll be lily pads, trees, and cars. And then it'll add the trains. And then it'll slowly get rid of the trees. And it'll progressively get harder. I'm almost entirely done building the main components of the game. Once I get those done, I'll be able to focus on scaling the game. And what I mean by that is I'll be able to focus on making skins and different maps. I'm thinking I'll have spooky maps, I'll have Christmas theme maps, and all sorts of holiday maps. The first map I'll probably try making is the Valentine's map because it's right around the corner. Anyway, I guess we're getting to the end of the video today, so if you enjoyed the devlog today, drop a like and subscribe as it really helps the channel out. And I hope you have a great day.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.